Well,
Yeah,
I'm glad
Phil
you could
Lynott.
make it. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
you knew Phil pretty well back in the old speakeasy days. So everything I've ever seen from him, I have some interview clips to play. He seemed like a lovely guy. Is
He
that
was
true
one
in
of the
reality?
boys. Yeah, he was totally one of the boys. I mean, but the first person I ever met was the guitar player. His name just went.
Eric Bell
No,
or
no,
Gary Moore? Gary
the
Moore?
Gary
Gary Moore.
Gary Moore. Yeah, I mean Gary. I met Gary when he was in Skid Row.
Yeah.
So hung out with him a lot and went to a lot of his gigs. And then he kind of disappeared for a minute, and then all of a sudden, the Rock and Roll Rowdies. We used to go into Marquee Club at 11 o'clock, meet up with all the drunks, and go to the bar. Then walk across 3 or 4 blocks to the Speakeasy. And Phil was always there, always there. He was a great chap. We drank a lot, we laughed a lot, we threw people around the streets a lot. He was one of the boys. He just loved to have a lot of fun. He never ever got out of control. He was always under control. And we just had great times. I mean, the last time I saw him was when I was flying in to do the Ronnie James Dio gig. Oh, God. And I was walking through Heathrow and I hear, Wilko, what the fuck are you doing? And I was like, Phil, my old mate. I said, how's it going? He goes, I'm doing great, and there was women everywhere. There's maybe 1,000, maybe 2,000. I went, who are the old boilers? He goes, oh, they're all for me. I said, can I borrow? He was signing autographs. And just the way we were, I was like, well, can I borrow a couple for about 20 minutes? And he was like, yeah, take your pick, whatever you want.
20 minutes? 5.
And he was like, you're meeting up with Ronnie James? I was like, yeah, he's outside picking me up with Willie Fife, the tour manager. He goes, okay, well, I'm going with you. So we walk outside and he's Ronnie and said his highs and everything else. So obviously he's outside now. So the publishing keeps trying to find him and all that. So we just laughed and carried on for about 25 minutes. And then he goes, I've got to go and do this. So off he went, back into the Heathrow airport to do his thing. But yeah, God bless him, man. I used to go drinking with him 5 to 7 nights a week. It was fantastic.
So as well as him and Gary Moore, you must have known Brian Robertson as well. He was in the Speakeasy. Well, he notoriously, as we will talk about later, hurt himself in the Speakeasy, which was a bit of an incident, but we'll come to that later.
But I can't remember the date, but I was with the Average White Band. I was living in New York, and I must have seen the ads for Thin Lizzy coming out, and they were supporting Queen in Madison Square Garden.
Posters of that, yeah.
Yeah, so I got in touch with Phil, and I went, I'll pick you up at the airport. He goes, you will? Because they didn't have much money back then. I was like, yeah, I'll pick you up in a limo. And the funniest thing about it is I picked Phil up, and Gary and everybody's looking at me. I went, see ya. And Phil and I just drove off in the limo. And we just didn't think about it until about 12 minutes later. We just started laughing.
Left them standing.
Yeah, we just left them. I mean, I don't know if they were expecting me to take them or to pick them up or what the news was. And we just started laughing. I think we laughed all the way into New York because back in those days, in the 70s, Atlantic, I think, owned the Mayflower Hotel. And every band was staying there. And that's where the boys were staying. So I pull up and Slim and Whitey, the two main guys out front, were like, Wilkie, what are you doing with him? I went, he went for Thin Lizzy. I went, no, he's a friend just popping in, So, yeah, we went to that gig that night. It was fantastic.
Yeah, they supported
and I hadn't seen Queen either. That was good.
I think that was US 77, was that? US Tour 77 or something for Queen? Yeah, and Thin Lizzy supported them. They supported a few major acts in the US trying to break it. BTO and Kansas and others. But that was a big one with Queen. I'm going to pick your brains a little bit more about that stuff, Wilko, as we go on.